Hey there, football fans. Welcome to the inaugural episode of CADS Aftermatch Chat, the place to be for all the banter and buzz surrounding our beloved Tottenham Hotspur. After that solid win against Fulham, it's time to grab a virtual pint and dive into the post-match analysis. From great saves to a record-breaking start to the campaign, we've got it all covered. So what are you waiting for? Come and discuss Spurs with your favourite CADS crew. Let's get it started. We are joined tonight by Matt. Say hello, Matt.
Come on, you Spurs.
There we go. We've got A with us as well.
Hey guys, and come on, you Spurs.
We also have Austin, who apparently is with us, but is not actually got his mic on yet. So we'll get there eventually. It'll happen. But how much did we enjoy that, everybody?
We're going to win the league, obviously. Obviously.
Great starts.
Well,
at the rate we're going.
That win takes us to 23 points, which is a best ever start to a Premier League season for Tottenham Hotspur. The previous record, I believe, was on the Jose Mourinho in 2020-21. And we got 20 points at that point, and we fell off very, very badly. So even though we're doing extremely well right now, we have seen before that things can drop. But are we worrying about that? Because I'm not. I am loving this season so far.
I mean, it's such a pleasure, isn't it, to watch? I mean, it's a world of difference from the Mourinho season you're talking about, because that was just about results. Right? Mm-hmm. This is so much more than just about the results and the points on the board. This is fun. This is Spurs football. This is the best of Spurs. This is what Spurs are supposed to be.
Yeah, I think so. What's the point if you can't enjoy the good times, right? Because we have plenty of bad times. So enjoy it while it lasts, and it's fun to watch. Stadium's buzzing, the players are buzzing. We should be buzzing.
Yeah, we've been watching the James Maddison interview together. I'm sure there'll be clips going up of that online, and everyone will be very happy to watch it because it is quite amusing. But is this the best start to a Premier League season for a new player? Can anybody remember a better start for a signing that's come in?
No, not at all. I'm with you, by the way, now.
You're back. Austin is back.
Well, I'm not back. I'm just here for the first time. I was on my phone and I could not get the bloody thing to log in. So I could hear you. And I could hear the sarcasm, but yeah.
Sorry, Oz.
No. That's fine. I'm cool with it. I'm old enough and ugly enough to live with it.
For those who don't know, Matt was living up to his title of Chief CAD. So there we go. Tonight.
Who's been calling me that? How long's this been going on?
Just tonight.
Matt's just a nasty piece of work, that's all. He's an astrophysicist, so he can get you when you're not expecting it. That's fine.
And I'm an assassin, like Madison. I don't care who I annoy. No problem with that.
All right, so we don't have long tonight because this is just a short and sharp one. We'll be doing the main one next week, I think. But what are everyone's initial impressions? I come away from that game going, some pretty good stuff in midfield. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg didn't really impress me that much in that position. Vicario, what a player. And also, how on earth did we purchase Destiny Udogie ahead of someone like Manchester City? Because he is just so good. That is a player that is going to the top as far as I can see.
The one that I'm finding in particular outstanding right now is Van de Ven. He's the one. I mean, I kind of knew because we had Udogie on the books for a year and on loan, back on loan. I knew that he was very good and I was expecting a lot from him. But Van de Ven, that guy is pure quality. He's unbelievable. I mean, you could say the same for both of them. But oh my God, okay, Romero also had his amazing moments. But Van de Ven just pulls out some crazy stuff, particularly, like I say, Van de Ven was in the first half outstanding and Romero was outstanding in the second half. But I mean, the both of them together they're just colossi. if that's the correct plural. It's just but no, I agree with you. Doggy is also amazing.
But I think that's the great thing, right? We could pick out so many players that are just amazing or have changed our opinion of them because we really only saw them with very negative managers and maybe
Hmm.
without the right culture and maybe without the right one-on-one coaching. And we always said during the other regimes is like we should be getting better out of the players we have. Yes, we may need additions, but the players that we had, they could have been better coached, and we could be getting more out of them, like some of the other teams. And we're seeing some of that now. Yeah, Mickey van der Ven's pace is unreal. Nobody outran him today, and
Yeah, but it's
and
quality
Porro
on the
was
ball.
good.
Yeah, it's quality on the ball though. He's so calm on the ball. He's got
Yeah.
great technique on the ball. It's not. It's not. I mean, it is partly pace, but it's not just that. But
Mm.
the point you're making about players looking a lot better, yeah, it's sort of. I mean, I know that it's difficult to judge Hobier and Skip, but both of them look. I mean, they were regular players last season, and we look more like a last season team towards the end than any other time because both of them. I mean, I feel a bit sorry for Skip in particular because he's sort of the game was passing him by a little bit. He's clearly not up to speed, but the two of them, you can see the difference, can't you? They're sort of back foot players a little bit more, and Hobie in particular. I agree with Stu. I mean, you could see at the start. Like, I think Romero was telling him to move, and Romero was getting frustrated. Clearly, Romero had lots of time on the ball, so he had lots of time to hand out orders, and he was moving players around, telling them to come because they weren't offering the right passing options. And I think Hoybier in particular was like hiding a little bit. He wasn't really showing properly, which was causing some problems. But yeah, towards the end, we weren't working correctly, and I think more than any game, we were seeing some more of the players previously, right?
I think they both lack the technical ability to turn
Right.
in tight spaces,
Yeah.
and so they have to pass it to somebody else quickly, or they're gonna lose it, and and that shows. Whereas Basuma would put his foot on the ball and turn, and then we're going in the other direction. So I
Yeah, they
I,
just
I,
lack the
I agree.
technical quality. They lack the
Yeah.
technical quality on the ball. I mean, it's athleticism, pace over like 2 yards, and the
Mm.
quality to take like 3, 4 touches to move themselves around players. Lo Celso has the technical quality, I think. Maybe he's a bit one-footed, but he's technically good enough.
Yeah,
But
with a run, he would do well. And we've got Bentacore to come back, who just looks. Oh, Bentacore would be the guy in this midfield. I
Don't
can't
get
wait.
Matt. Don't get Matt started on Bentancur. That's a long, slippery road
I,
with Matt.
I,
It'll end in a
gosh,
He's my
yeah.
favorite player.
yeah,
He's a
Um,
fantastic player, and I don't know if you've seen the clips from training this week, but the link up plays between him and Madison where they're playing possession, it looked really good. It's just looks juicy, looks good. I think
yeah, I
it's
can't
going to
wait for
cause
that.
some real problems for Premier League
but yeah,
midfields.
but fair play to Saar. I mean, Saar was having a great game. Saar, when he came steaming in to recover and
Wow,
stop them from shooting, was a great moment for him as well.
that header, the back header, for all money, that guy was going to get a chance on goal from
Right.
Fulham, and his athleticism, it was phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I,
You
between
I
can
think
Madison
you
and
can get a
Liverpool,
chance on goal, but then you got to beat Vicario, and I think Vicario tonight showed
that's
exactly
good.
why he was second best goalkeeper in Serie A last season.
mm,
And considering the best goalkeeper in Serie A last season was Onana, who's having a rough old time at Manchester United, I think it just shows his quality. It shows how good he's been, and he's been an excellent purchase for us. And I don't think, whatever people say, I ain't going to call him the cheap option.
no,
Yeah,
not at all.
no.
Raya was struggling last week as well. Last week, I mean, against Chelsea, I saw a few minutes and I saw him
Mhm.
making mistakes. So if that was the choice between the two, I'm a happy man. cheaper as well, and better, roughly as good as far as I can tell. But I mean, right? So I think it's a big one of the. Okay, two Austins, interesting.
Double Austin.
Austin and his twin. But I was going to say
Austin
just before
Powers.
I'll shut up in a second. But I think a lot of the story is the new players as well, right? Because sorry, I was talking about different players that have been made to look a lot better. But Vicario, Udogie a previous season, Van der Ven, and you can also add in players like Kulusevski and Bentancur. Like the amount of really strong players that we've signed over the past 12 to 18 months or whatever it is. Madison, of course. These are it's just hit after hit after hit. You could include Porro as well if you wanted. Loads of excellent players. Sarr could also be in the mix. We've done such a good job of improving this squad.
Our transfer business this summer, particularly this summer, has been fantastic. And I think if you look back and you even over the couple of summers before that, where we had transfers sorted out in the future for Sarr and also for Udogie, I think those were masterstrokes. You look at that and you go, right, just letting those players stay on loan at their club, get a little bit more experience, and sweeten the deal a little bit more. And I genuinely thought Veliz would be the same situation this summer. I thought we'd be letting him stay on loan before coming out. But I'm glad he's come with us because he looks to have something about him. But obviously, we're only 9 games in. But what a set of games. Austin, what are your thoughts on this match? No, we've got Austin. You're muted or you can't hear you. Oh, now you're mute. No, try again.
You're still inaudible, I'm afraid.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
Ask your twin to speak. I'm gonna get in trouble for saying that, aren't I? Evil Matt again. We still can't hear you, mate.
Okay, so obviously, we'll get back to Austin when he comes around. But how has everybody's thoughts so far? Come on, because it's been a great 9 games. How long can this go on? Because we've got Crystal Palace on Friday, just a few days from now. That should be another 3 points, and then things, I believe, start to get a little bit more difficult. But yeah, how are we going to do?
I think we'll get a result, Palace, and then I think you're right. It gets difficult because we've there's some teams that are playing really well. It's quite congested at the top there, and you look the likes of Villa, Newcastle, Brighton, still to come without the the Man Cities and of the world. So it's going to be testing. I hope we have our best players for that because, like you said, there's quite a drop off when they're not on. And I think against those teams, we can't be as loose as we were in the last 20 minutes of like we were in today's game. And I think that they will get punished. So it's going to be interesting. I think we're going to get better after international break and stuff. It's difficult. Players not training together, jet lag. So hopefully we see a step up against Palace. And then as we go into those games, hopefully we're a whole lot sharper. I look forward to having Basuma back and fingers crossed he avoids a booking if he plays against Palace.
He's not avoiding it. He gets booked every game, so he'll be out.
Yeah.
He'll be out for that. He'll play against Palace, or maybe we'll let Højbjerg play against Palace and save him a little bit, and then bring in Basuma for the Chelsea game. That could happen.
Yeah, possibly. He'll probably be. Maybe they'll start him off the bench just in case against Palace.
In terms of the game tonight, as I said, I wasn't particularly impressed with Højbjerg, but I thought he did much better against Luton. He was actually getting the ball and turning quite well with it. Skip, I thought, didn't impress that much, but I think a lot of people aren't really taking into account or forgetting that he was the player who was pressuring Matip when Matip scored that own goal in the Liverpool game. So he's put in a little bit this season. How else are we doing? Veliz, I like the look of. He's definitely good in the air. I think he was maybe a little bit over keen tonight. And Lo Celso, I've seen him described elsewhere by another of our CADS people who described him as a shit Vinny Samways, which I thought was a bit harsh. But I thought when he came on,
That's really harsh.
he knitted things together nicely, had a few good moves, and showed some real promise. I thought, starting things from deep and also moving with the ball well as well. So good days, I think.
Can Austin speak? No.
No.
Sorry.
I think it's hard for Lo Celso because he hasn't played for a long while. And then you come in and it's him, Skip, and Højbjerg. And I think he'll look a lot better with Basuma there and maybe Sarr. Then it'll be a better judge of it because he likes to move the ball around, but it's almost like those two guys are a bit static. So who does he pass to? And sometimes you could see him getting the ball and actually trying to move people around like Romero was doing with his hands so that he could play little 1-2s and stuff. And it didn't happen, led to indecision, and then it was a bit sloppy. But I think it's harsh to judge him. Veliz is a big boy. He looks pretty strong. Over Keane maybe, but it's early days on him as well. Let's hope he's also one of those hits like Udogie and Sarr with time to come.
I'm not worried about Lo Celso. I think that maybe the biggest concern is that he sort of gets the hump from not getting to play. Apparently he does. He has a sort of the tendency to get a bit grumpy. So we'll see how long he lasts. Maddison, what can you say? He's not going to get. He's going to play whenever he can on this kind of form. But Lo Celso, as long as he keeps it together mentally and is ready, I'm pretty confident that he'll be a quality sub. I'm less confident about Højbjerg. I did think that Højbjerg grew into the game, by the way. So I think that going back to Stu's question, I think a lot of the answer to the question about how long we can sustain this is reflected in how strong the squad is and the kind of things that we saw towards the end of the game about the rotation of personnel and whether they're good enough. I think that I'm getting a little bit frustrated we're not getting to see Hill. I would have liked to have seen Hill. Johnson did fine when he came on, but I think Hill is another very good option, possibly even through the middle, which would be nice too. But right, so I think we keep going back to him, right? But through the middle, Bissouma, Bentancur, Sarr, Maddison, and beyond that for Lo Celso. Maybe Højbjerg and Skip as sort of the sort of extra choices there. I guess it's good enough, but I think we really need Bissouma to be available for games, and we need Bentancur back strong and fit. And then with Bentancur back, if Bentancur comes back looking like the old Bentancur, I think this makes a huge difference to our prospects for the season and whether we can sustain this. I think we need someone in the middle with that kind of quality to come in. And if he does show that he's ready, I think that would make a huge difference. Because that, to me, the end of the game, we sort of tailed off a little bit, and I think that was the key. Was the middle was a little bit disjointed. I do feel sorry for Skip. I think that he's like people didn't seem to be passing to him, or he wasn't taking up the right positions to be passed to. Couldn't figure it out. But there seems to be a bit of an issue there for the time being. And Højbjerg is okay in the right kind of situations, but as we were saying earlier, not so good on the turn. So I think these are the key positions. I think the front line is looking pretty good, really. I would say, with some players returning from injury, it's Richarlison's an interesting one. Always worth having a chat about Richarlison. I thought Richarlison was doing really well apart from his shot, which he blazed over. There was one in particular. But I thought he was looking confident. I thought, he was doing really well down the left. I think he seemed happier out of the firing line a little bit with lower pressure role on the left.
I think he fits the system out there,
Yeah.
and you can't fault his work rate. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm with you with Brian Hill. I really wanted to see Brian Hill, and I think he has that ability to be um, creative in the middle as well. I prefer. I'm gonna upset some people. I prefer him to Johnson. I think he has a little bit more technical ability than Johnson, and our subs when they come on, they feel like that's lacking. That mouse on the ball, moving it quickly. Johnson to me is raw pace. Probably has a decent shot and cross, but um, towards the end of the games, if we're not chasing it, I think Hill's technical ability is more suited to what we need. And I would love to see him getting a chance because he's also one of those punts. The Udogi. If you think about it, he was probably the first one, the punt that we took. It just came but early, wrong managers, and maybe this is the time for him. So I'm hoping for a Brian Hill redemption arc. I would love that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like Austin is saying, he thinks Hill will be brilliant for the team, but I also think that Johnson will be brilliant when he's completely fit. I agree. I mean, I don't know who I prefer, but it's a little frustrating to see Hill not get a chance. I mean, clearly he's only just come back from injury, but it also looks very much like he's going to go. I wonder if because he's not a homegrown player. I think Johnson has that edge over him, and I think that we may be looking to move Hill on just to balance the squad a bit better, which would be a terrible shame. I think we at least need to give him a chance to show what we're losing if we let him go. But yeah, no, it's interesting. It's an interesting balance. At one point, what's the name of their Fulham centre back? I was saying this guy's pretty good.
Bassey.
Well, he's keeping He's keeping the ball well, and maybe he's not particularly fast. I don't know, but I was thinking maybe this is a potential signing. And then he gave the ball away to us. Maybe not. Then.
I was going to say, I think he was responsible effectively for both of the goals that we scored. So
my thinking before
not responsible, culpable for both of the goals that we scored.
My observation was the first 20 minutes. And just before he gave away the ball for the second one, I was saying to my son, he's going to give the ball away here again, isn't he? And sure enough, he did. Take my word for that.
I think our press was really good in that moment. Sonny led the press brilliantly, and it was noticeable how fast they were to put the pressure on. And at some point, it was going to happen. But we also got caught out like that a few times. So I think we were just more clinical then.
The second half, they really came at us, didn't they? Particularly start of the second half, they had a completely different game plan to try and press us, and that seemed to be causing some issues. And then we just scored, and I was like, "Their bubble burst."
That was that.
Quite fun.
Yeah, because
we should have never been in that position. You think about the chances missed in the first half. That game should have been dead and buried a long time ago. Why did Decky not shoot? Like he seemed like he was just not going to take a shot today. He had some good chances.
Wrong foot, I think.
Yeah.
But he needs. I've said this so many times. He needs to have confidence in his right foot. His right foot is better than he seems to think it is.
He's pinged in a couple of nice ones with his right, but
yeah, he scores.
And scored. He scored against Sheffield United, didn't he? Right foot. The winner. Yeah, it was a good finish.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. But I remember seeing him score on his right for Sweden with some decent power. I just think it's weird. He seems to have. You could say patience, but the balance is wrong, right? Because he's trying to take too long by playing too intricately, holding the ball too long, trying to pass the ball into the net. But he really just needs to hit it. I agree. Yeah.
Mm.
But no, I think that So I mean, this short pod chat is gonna turn into a long one.
No,
So
it's not. 'Cause
otherwise-
I've got to be up early in the morning. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, I've got to be up at 6. So
But yeah, long may it continue. I think it's just amazing. It's just fun, and as others have said, we should just enjoy it while it lasts. And I think that it might last, but I think that we've set ourselves up for the season really well, and we should just enjoy it for as long as it continues. And if nothing else, I think we can be optimistic in general for the top four, as Oz is saying in the chat, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
I don't know if
that's
people are
agreed.
able to see the chat when on the video, but certainly
Which is why I'm
Oz is making
repeating
some
what-
good points, and hopefully when we have our longer chat, he'll be able to join us properly and get those across. But last thing tonight, before we close this down, who is everybody's man of the match? It's a tough one. I'm personally going to go Maddison, I think. What do you reckon?
Goal and assist, Sonny.
I think they both got an assist. I saw
I
that
think
they were
both got a
both
goal assist,
equal.
yeah.
I mean,
No,
I
no,
guess
Richie got the first
That's
assist.
true. Richie got the first one, but
Oh,
it
was
was
it? Okay.
it came from Maddison closing down. So
Okay.
yeah, let's call that an important contribution. Matt, who's your man of the match?
I think for his post-match interview, as much as for his performance, Madison, and I just enjoyed him saying. I mean, I think Son may have to have it taken away from him because he got in the way. What was he doing? It was, and it was hilarious. Madison talking about how I would have scored if it weren't for the fact that Son had got in my way. I love Madison's honesty. It's hilarious. It's refreshing to see a footballer sort of shoot from the hip a little bit, and he was just sort of just true. He just, he would have scored. He would have scored. Well, he would have certainly had a very good chance to score if Son, from a worse position, hadn't tried to take it off his foot.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I thought, I mean, I think Madison. Yeah.
So there
So
we go.
it's 3-1.
Austin is also going for Madison. So there we go, 3-1. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I think we might well be doing this after the Crystal Palace game as well, if anybody's available. And I look forward to seeing you all there and chatting a little bit more about Spurs. We will, of course, come together and discuss Spurs. Until then, come on, you Spurs.
Cheers. Come on, you Spurs. Bye, guys.